So I'm just making this video to show a few friends and I guess other fishers how to create tracks and waypoints on Google Earth and then convert those to many of your modern sounders. I fish top end barra series, and one thing I discovered when I first started was that I didn't have enough knowledge of different places, and I really I relied heavily on Google Earth to obviously look at places and points of interest and use that as a starting point. So one thing you can do on Google Earth is create folders down the side. So you can see, I've named different folders after different places. You can create tracks using this path tool. You basically just click along where you want to go. You can delete sections of the path. You can measure sections of the path and see exactly how far things are. You can mark out waypoints. So this folder here is actually from an exploratory trip I did down to the Little Moyle, and I'd never been there before, so I wanted to measure things out exactly and have a bit of a good layout of where everything is. So I made paths and measured out distances, and I then used these pin tools to mark different things that I thought were interesting, whether they were holes or whatever, rename them and whatnot. Another great feature of Google Earth is actually this time slider tool. So you can actually drag the time slider to find low tide points on different maps. So this isn't a good example because that's a great low tide map as is for mapping out a channel. But say, for example, one that I know you definitely need to use the time slider is Shoal Bay. Say, for example, you can slide this time slider. So say, for example, if you're doing low tide lock-ins, you want to find a map where you can see all the sandbars. That's quite a good one. And you can mark out channels and things like where you want to run your boat. Obviously channels move and things like that, but this tool is definitely a great starting point, and using that time slider you can really have a look at spots that might be good low tide spots for locking in or casting or walking banks, or where you might take the boat or whatnot. Anyway, once you've marked out your tracks and your waypoints, to then get it onto your sounder, it's pretty simple. You just right click the folder, or if you wanted to, you could if you wanted to do everything, you could just right click all of your places. I've got these unchecked because obviously don't want you to see everywhere that I've marked. You can right click a folder and just go save place as, and then you need to save it as a KML. So say, for example, I'll put this one on my desktop, Moyle trip, as a KML, and you see now that that's saved on my desktop. And the next thing you want to do is go to Google Earth. There's a great program called GPS Babel. GPS Babel is a free program. GPS Babel is like a great program for converting different sounder types, and you can convert Google Earth to many different sounders using GPS Babel. So you just go ahead and download that. For this particular example, I want to convert a Google Earth file, so I just write GO, scroll down to Google Earth. This keyhole markup is the one that it is. You want to then go and find what you're converting. You want to mark waypoints, routes and tracks, and then you want to pick what you want to convert it to. So say, for example, I run a Lowrance, so I'll go Lowrance USR or USR version 4. I'll give it a file name, Moyle trip, and then I click save there. Now then I just click run OK, and you can see translation is successful. And then if you go to your desktop, there's the file, and that file then can be put on an SD card and then put into your sounder.